This episode is sponsored by Well Balanced Nutrition and 360 Health.
Welcome to the Health Geeks Book Club podcast. Listen in as Kristen Norton and Eleanor Russell review all those great health and wellness books you've been wanting to read or you have read and want to talk about. Here's Kristen and Eleanor.
Hey, Kristen.
Hey, Eleanor.
I woke up this morning, luckily I woke up this morning. That's nice.
Yes.
And longevity, I got another day.
Step one.
Yes, step one. And sometimes I have some crazy thoughts in the morning, but I kind of like them. They say that's when you're sharpest. So reflecting on that, I was heading to the podcast studio with you and Tim, and we were going to revisit our conversation about Gabrielle Lyon's book, Forever Strong. I just said, I don't want to live like a lab rat. And I think she wants me to live like a lab rat, And I don't know, well, the last time we were talking, we sort of got into that thing about bioobservability. And everybody now needs to track everything. And the whole reason you got to track it is because you want longevity. You got to live a long time. And we're hearing this from more and more people now. Have you noticed that?
That we have to track everything.
Yeah, but the longevity emphasis. Like you got to have a long life. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, how about a quality life?
Right. Yeah.
And that's where I want to balance this whole this evolution revolution to wellness that we're experiencing as a society. Is let's get some quality in here of living.
Let's do some things that can make our life better, but not over focus.
Yeah.
On I got to live the longest. I've got to do all of this. I've got to track everything.
And there's a right way to do it.
Yeah.
There's a right way, and somebody's going to tell me that right way. Rather than learning to listen to our own bodies and our own context, meaning the environment that we're in, that dictates a lot about what you can or cannot accept in your life.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing about wellness literature is you do have to take what works for you and leave the rest. Mm-hmm. And sometimes that can be hard to do.
Oh, yeah. And that's why it's nice to have an advocate with you. And so, that thing that I always revisit several times in our conversations about build a team, get your board of directors. That everybody needs their own board of directors. And, invite people into your circle that are going to help, you can help them and they can help you.
Yes.
Yes. That relationship stuff. So anyway, talking about quality of life.
And quality, that's kind of our topic today, but quality of protein. Mm-hmm. So we're continuing to talk about Forever Strong by Dr. Gabrielle Lyon. And we're digging into why she calls animal-based protein the original superfood.
Oh, yeah. You want to have a controversial statement here?
So she makes a strong case for that high-quality animal proteins are the gold standard for building muscle, supporting metabolism, and protecting against age-related decline. And it's kind of about the quality of protein in the sense of the bioavailability, how much amino acids, especially leucine, that it's in it. But like you said, I'm going to bring up how people, plant-based experts and skeptics push back against her idea.
Well, and we've read several books that have endorsed a plant-based diet or a plant slant.
Yes.
I mean, that has been a current theme in a lot of the stuff we've read, and it's all backed by what we would say is some solid research science on large populations even. But just to revisit this, so if you're listening and you just chunking in right now and you're not sure what protein is, it's an organic molecule and it's assemblage of amino acids, which are little chemicals. And so each protein has its own little sequence of amino acids.
I like to call them building blocks.
Exactly. And there are, 20 of them?
We
need.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some that your body can make if you supply the right ingredients,
Right.
The building blocks to make the amino acid.
And so we call them non-essential since our body can make them.
And then there's 9 of them that you have to get you have to eat them.
Yeah.
Somehow get them inside your body so that it's available to your cells.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's what we're talking about when we talk about quality of the protein choices that we have in our diet, is what is that distribution of those amino acids?
Because every protein has a different makeup of those amino acids. And she makes a point that on a food label, under carbohydrates, you see a breakdown of, okay, of these carbohydrates, you've got dietary fiber, and then you've got added sugar. So you see the different types of carbohydrates. Same with fats. You see, okay,
Trans fats?
Part of these are trans fats, part of these are saturated fats, and some of them are unsaturated fats. And she says, well, why don't we do that with protein? Because not all protein is made
equal.
up the same. Yeah. And it comes down to these amino acids. And we don't see that on a label, what amino acids are in these proteins.
And so when Kristen and I are talking about a complete amino acid, a complete protein, we're talking about one that could offer you all of those, that
Amino
whole
acids.
quality, the quality of the protein. And the labeling, that's interesting. I think I missed that when I was reading that she was saying that we don't see that on the labels.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because there's a lot of phobia about reading labels right now, too.
Or obsession?
Yeah, maybe. And there are even little apps, and actually my company has one, that you can go to the grocery store and put your little camera on the label, and it'll evaluate the label for you.
Yes. Yep. There's a couple of those
Is it
out right now.
Yoko or something is another?
Yucca?
Yeah, that's another one
Yep,
of those.
that's the one I heard of. And, someone was telling me about this, and then later my husband was like, what do you think about that? And I'm like, well, I know it's good intentioned, but I think it can mislead some people or lead to kind of obsession. And so I don't want to get down that rabbit hole, but there's maybe a good set of pros and cons about those apps. But you're right. Like, we are looking at what's in our food. We're looking at labels. We're paying attention. And it's interesting that what we're going to talk about today isn't necessarily on the labels.
Yeah. And protein, the reason that you and I are interested in protein, because this book is about muscle-centric medicine.
Yes.
And most of people will think about your muscles are made of protein. But you know what? These proteins have lots of other roles in our body as well. They're in connective tissue. Muscle is a different kind of tissue, but they're in connective tissue. They're enzymes that create chemical reactions at a higher rate or whatever. They're structural things. Your bones have, protein in them. And you often we don't think about that. We think it's a salt matrix, but no, there's protein in your bones.
Right.
And so when you have sarcopenia, that's really a loss of muscle mass, correct? And that's what she's cautioning us about in this, why we should pay attention to her, is that she thinks there'll be an epidemic of sarcopenia rather than obesity, which is what we've been focused on for so long.
Because as she puts it, since protein is needed throughout the body, our bodies are going to prioritize getting that taken care of, whether it's our skin, our organs. And so if it means pulling from the muscles because we're not getting it from the diet, then our bodies will do that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this quality issue is important, and I am willing to pay attention to what she has to say about it.
Yeah.
So should I eat beef or should I eat tofu?
Right. Well, I think it comes down to one of these 9 essential amino acids that she talks about, leucine, that is kind of like an on switch, would you say?
No, I'd say it is the trigger for the switch.
Okay, there you go.
There is a switch on our cell surfaces, and you may remember we read a book called The Switch by James Clement.
I remember that.
Yes, I know you do, Tim. Can you tell me about
We
it?
do
I
reference
cannot.
it a lot, don't we?
I just remember the name.
Hey, you might, if you could help us out, figure out what episode that was, just in case somebody does want to go listen to it. Wouldn't that be cool? Maybe I'll need to go listen to it. But what the point I'm going to make here is there's this thing that they discovered kind of recently, this receptor on our cells, and I think people have heard about receptors on cell membranes. We're made of billions of little cells, and it's called the mTOR, M, capital T, capital O, capital R, and that's what we're calling the switch, because once it's engaged, if something hooks into that receptor and turns it on, then the other side of the cell is going to go into anabolic metabolism, which means we're going to build, we're going to repair, we're going to build stuff. assemble those amino acids.
Rather than break them down.
Exactly.
Yes.
And when you disengage the mTOR, then you're going to start cleaning up in the cell all that what we call age-related end products, which is advanced glycylation end products, which is blah, blah, blah. But anyway, it gets gooey in there, and you need to clean that up so that all these little chemicals can find each other and do housekeeping. And that's called autophagy. And that's what we talked about a long time ago in the book called Switch. And that's kind of where this intermittent fasting trend has come from, is that we have understood you need to give those cells some rest time. Don't keep feeding, because they're just going to keep building and wear themselves out and damage themselves. And so over time, that could cause dysfunction and what we would call aging, right? Hey, if you're as interested in prevention as I am, contact me, Eleanor Russell, at 360health, 4u.com. Whether you're interested in financial wellness or physical health products, 360 Health invites you to become part of our community.
The Switch was episode 5.
Thank you.
Wow. Back to the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah. So mTOR turns on muscle building, and autophagy is when it is off because we're fasting.
As I understand it, we may need to review that, but I think that's right. And leucine, which is what you mentioned earlier, which is one of the amino acids, and is it the essential amino acid?
Yes.
All right, so we have to get it in our diet, is the thing that attaches to the receptor. It's the chemical signaling that goes on. So if you want to build muscle, you need some leucine in there to kick that cellular mechanism into gear.
Right.
Now, is that okay? You got that, Tim?
I think so.
Following along? Okay.
Yeah, he's doing some other stuff.
So
He's like my students in class. And
So there's this threshold, so to speak,
yes.
that we need this amount of leucine to trigger.
Yeah.
And research shows that most adults need about 2.5 to 3 grams of leucine per meal to fully flip on mTOR.
Where does it come from?
Leucine, where does it come from? That's a good question.
Yes, it comes from the protein in your diet, if it's the right quality of protein.
Okay, where does that come from?
We'll dig in a minute.
Okay.
The cow out there is eating the grass and drinking the water and in the sunshine.
But
And the plant's doing the same thing.
Okay. But I just want to say that that's for adults. And I do want to say that younger bodies can get away with way less.
But what about my older body?
But older, as we age, we have this anabolic resistance where we might need a louder knock on the door to get our muscles to build.
Yeah, and that's when you start looking and evaluating diets in age groups. Mm-hmm. Older folks sort of tamper down. Their appetites come down a little bit. They don't eat as much as they used to eat. They're not as interested in it because they're not as busy with families, or they're not as active. And so a lot of people I've talked to in my age group are stunned at how little protein they're really eating.
Oh, I believe it. Because it is so true.
And
that
so even
your
if we need
appetite
more,
is lower, you're usually cooking for one or two. So you're burnt out with cooking at that point, and you're just eating.
Not me.
Okay,
Never.
Some people. Okay. You might be eating easier meals. And I see it a lot, that the protein is really low, and maybe not even eating regular meals throughout the day.
Mm-hmm. And
that's a real life struggle.
I just had a catastrophe over here. I dropped all my books.
Geez.
I do. I'm in that category, I believe, because I'm here till late a lot, and we don't do a lot of cooking during the week. On the weekend, maybe, but I know my stuff is not the best. It's just, what can I put in me right now?
It's not your priority. You think about other stuff, and so you're eating to get your stuff done, not to think about what am I eating.
Yeah, and it's not.
It's true.
It's not really healthy, but it's the best I can do right now.
Maybe we can help him. You think?
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, let's talk about where do we get leucine and why she talks about animal protein so much?
Let's do.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm going to come back to the lutein thing after we get over that because I want to have this conversation first.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got a zinger for you.
Ooh, okay. So animal foods, beef, chicken, eggs, dairy, naturally pack more leucine and all the other essential amino acids in a smaller, more digestible package.
And what about calorie load?
Exactly. Smaller, so fewer calories.
Yeah, so you can eat more of that without raising your calorie level and getting the level of leucine you might
Without,
that 2.5 grams. And that's not 2.5 grams of protein.
right.
Yeah.
Yes, good clarification. It's of leucine.
So you got to eat a lot of protein. And she says excessive amounts, in my opinion, but it's a lot.
I'm okay with that.
Well, I'm learning to be.
So that's why she champions the animal proteins, right? Because fewer calories, you can get in that leucine target without overloading on calories, and you're getting more digestible, right? There's a digestible factor that plant proteins are not always as readily available to digest and absorb versus the animal.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean we can't. But her argument is that animal proteins are the simplest, most reliable way to get that muscle building leucine that we need. And you saw her speak. I don't know, is she fierce on that topic? Because I've seen clips of her on the internet, and it's kind of like highlighting how she's...
She in the talk I heard, she didn't go down that road very far.
Okay.
She was focusing on the importance of making sure you get enough protein.
And I think that's the bottom line.
She kept it, at that level.
So, there's always controversy among these experts that are out there. And so I came across some plant-based nutrition experts that disagree that animal protein is the best way. I think that's her preference. And because of the research her and her mentor have done, it's just kind of driven it home for her. But then, like you said, we've read all of these plant-based books and there's lots of research. So they are pushing back. And yes, they agree that animal proteins have more leucine per gram sometimes. But that doesn't mean you can't build muscle on plants. And there's research to back them up. You just might need more total protein and smart combinations if you're using foods that have incomplete amino acid profiles.
Yeah, and that's the thing about the plants is they are incomplete, meaning you have to know which ones are in which things. And that
some of them are incomplete.
Yes. And as you
Not
use the dietitian, I'm not, but I've heard for years his Latino diets with beans and rice are because of that. You're getting the complement.
Yeah.
And so if you eat those together, you're getting a complete
protein
assortment.
Yeah. And
so is that true?
It's true that those are a good match because of that.
And culturally, they figured that out.
Yeah, I don't know. It's funny. Some of our most ancient traditions are actually really good for us, and we didn't realize why, per se. But you say, so I just want to point out, there are plant-based proteins that are complete, like soy. Why didn't you talk about soy? Pea protein is as well. Her thing that I saw online attacks quinoa because people apparently eat quinoa thinking this is high protein, but you have to have a lot. It's kind of same with beans. You have to have a lot to get a good amount of protein. But people typically don't just eat a big old plate of quinoa. They have like a plant power bowl where they're combining things.
Buddha bowls.
Buddha bowls, yeah. And you can get, just like the beans and rice, you can mix and match to get a complete amino acid profile in a delicious meal that has plenty of leucine. So it just surprises me that she doesn't at least go there a little more. She does mention it's okay and you can do it, but she's not a fan.
Well, I wanted that as well, and maybe you saw it and I didn't. The idea that when you're eating a plant-based diet, you're getting fiber and you're getting soluble and insoluble fiber, which we know is very good for your colon. If you're eating a heavy animal product diet, you're not getting that fiber unless you attend to that, right? Or Is that
No,
something?
I 100% agree. And that is a major concern when you focus only on protein, that you're going to miss the fiber.
Which is what I was saying about becoming a lab rat. It's like, we're going to build muscle, so I'm going to focus on muscle, and I might forget the rest of my body.
Yeah.
That is also critical.
Well, and a real life example is I've been trying to bump up my protein, and the other day I realized, oh yeah, I haven't gotten a lot of fiber in recently. So it's true. I'm a dietitian and I love my fiber, but when I was focused on more protein sources, the ones I was picking didn't necessarily have the fiber to go with it. So it's something to definitely be mindful of.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to give you guys your protein and fiber bars
Lovely.
for the sustenance of this conversation.
Yes, I love it. Thank you.
Yeah, and soy got a bad rap for a while. I remember in the research years, maybe in the early 80s, I heard a thing about, men that eat soy are going to have a gynecomastia, which is enlarged breasts, and the feminization. So men should stay away from soy. And
That rumor was
yes,
so widespread.
pervasive, right?
Yeah.
And then there've been other ones as well about. Well, there are some issues with soy if you have thyroid disease, but breast cancer for women is the other one that a lot of people thought, if I have soy, my breast cancer is going to get worse. Well, we have found that's not true. But it's hard once this thing gets out into, the grapevine of people telling people. They don't often get the follow-up stories.
Exactly.
And it persists. And then it's a little bit tough to change your mind once you feel like someone with an expertise said this, and now you're saying they're wrong. So who do I believe?
Yeah.
And that's where I think we are with all this information
All of
right
it.
now.
Yeah.
Who do we believe?
But yeah, she doesn't talk about soy as a complete protein. It is highly digestible, and it packs decent leucine, so about 2 to 3 grams per 30 to 40 grams of soy protein isolate. So there's different soy products, right? And one clip that I saw of Dr. Lyon, and I don't think this is fair because people can just put little clips and not the whole thing, but she's comparing like whey protein and beef to quinoa. And it's just not a great one-to-one comparison, because why not, if you're going to put whey protein up there, why not put soy protein isolate or pea protein isolate?
Right.
Because they're very comparable.
But whey is an animal-based product.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just wanted to clarify that in case people aren't aware of that.
Right. Tired of feeling stuck in your health journey? At Well Balanced Nutrition, we understand that achieving your health goals isn't just about what you eat. It's about overcoming the mental roadblocks holding you back. Our team of expert nutrition coaches is here to guide you every step of the way, helping you break through mindset barriers and reach your full potential. Don't let mindset barriers stand in the way of your health and happiness. Call Well Balanced Nutrition today and start your journey to a better you. And then soy food products like tofu, tempeh, edamame, these could also be a great addition to your diet.
Yeah.
That she doesn't talk about or have any recipes for. And, I'm an omnivore. I eat meat and plants, right? So I think the more the merrier. Why not include both?
Yeah. I'm with you there. I like it all.
There was something just in the news this week about whey. What was that?
Little Miss Muffet sat on a tuffet.
Tuffet. Yeah, no, I know what whey is, but I mean, what was?
I didn't catch that.
There's something that says whey was once a throwaway, and now it's
high commodity.
It's high commodity. Yeah.
Yeah, because when you make the curds, the cheeses and stuff, that whey is left, and you just toss it unless you know what to do with it.
Yeah.
Oh, and you know what? That reminds me that she kind of talks about processed foods a little bit. Like, beware of processed foods.
I was getting ready to do that. I was going there. Yeah.
But whey is a processed food.
Yeah.
It's a food process, if nothing else.
No, you put a little citric acid in the milk and it splits it out. It takes the fats and turns them into the cheese and leaves the whey. Yeah, in a way it is.
Yeah.
In a way.
In a way.
I'm so good.
Anyway, before we move on, I want to say my bottom line. Golly.
But before you get to your bottom line, that thing about ultra processed, the soy isolates are ultra processed. I mean, they take the soy and either cold press it or hot press it, and whatever their methods are for that are something to pay attention to, because the heat can destroy some of the chemical structures, and they can be marketed, as an isolate because they're isolated, but they may not be healthy, molecularly. Isn't that interesting?
What do you mean? What does it take away?
Processing, the cold processing keeps the amino acid structure of the amino acids, the chemical structure
intact.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
Yeah, but anyway, we read a book about ultra processed people, and they say minimal processing, and so a lot of people will eliminate a soy isolate, protein powder.
Yeah, some people are anti-protein powders
because of the ultra processing. But I think that's maybe it's up to the individual. But
yeah, I think it's a good tool. Usually,
it's a very good tool. And
so do you feel like whey is not as processed?
No, it is absolutely. By the time it's turned into a powder.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not something you go pick or shoot.
Okay.
And slice. It's it's been through some processing, but it is animal derived.
Right.
Yeah, has different creamy flavor to it as well. But your bottom line.
My bottom line is that if you are plant-based, soy can be your friend for muscle health, and that there are a few studies that demonstrate you can build muscle as long as you're doing strength training too, with plant-based protein. But the bottom line is quality protein and making sure you get enough and that you pay attention to good sources that contain leucine.
So back to your bottom line, how does someone afford this? Because if you're buying T-bone steaks and the beef line and grass-fed, we need sustainable farming. Well, you're getting into a hefty budget for your food. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so this thing about processing, another conversation for us to have on another time, is the social ramifications of slamming processed foods. Affordability is a big issue, and shelf life is a big issue. Stability of the ingredients. So this is not a simple story that we're talking about.
No,
but I do think I'm shy on protein. I like the fact that she's telling me maybe I should pay a little more attention to my muscles, because if my muscles are happy, the rest of me is probably going to be happy too.
Yeah,
and that whether we get the protein from the animal or the plant, let's continue that conversation and make our choices. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, let's bring it home with our well format. So
no, I got one more before we go off the leucine thing.
Oh, go ahead.
And then we can get to the link and leave, right?
Do tell.
Because we've done the what and we're done the explain, and we're going to do link and leave. Is that right? And that's going to be well. So back to Clement. I'm reading about, let me go back and see what mTOR is, doing a little preparation. And I said, here's a little section on leucine. He liked leucine too. He talked about the BCAAs, the BCAAs, branched chain amino acids, which leucine, isoleucine, and valine are of. Well, it turns out in 2019, so that's almost 10 years ago, but not quite. Mm-hmm. And she's referenced some things in that time period as well to support her argument. Okay, for example, it was reported in the journal Nature that women being treated for breast cancer can lose their response to chemotherapy drugs such as tamoxifen, which is a very common one, if their diets are high in leucine. Leucine turns on mTOR, which we agree with, which increases cell division, which we agree with, and proliferation. Leucine increases the proliferation not only of normal cells, which would be our muscle cells, right? So we're getting a high protein, high leucine diet in there, and we're building our normal cells, but also of breast cancer cells, while decreasing leucine levels suppresses it. Put another way, you can turn down cell proliferation and starve a cancer by limiting your intake of leucine. So there's more on this. So what I was going to caution us with, whenever we get into these specific individual things with one major focus, we need to broaden the scope on that. Because if you have an older person, which she says is not eating enough protein, and you jack them up on their protein, older people may have precancerous things going on or whatever. And so you really need a little bit of guidance and a broad look when you're going to make a revolutionary change to your diet. Would you agree with that or not?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just one thing. But, like I said, proteins and mTOR is all over the body. It's not just in our muscles. Mm-hmm. So every time you're engaging that mTOR, you're probably engaging it all over your body.
So I'm just trying to think of what Dr. Lyon would say to that.
I'd like to know too.
Yeah. And I don't know her whole...
And that's 2019, so there may be more about that. But that sounds pretty... And she's supporting the same argument. It turns on.
Yeah, and she's saying that if we build muscle, we're going to be able to not fight cachexia and disease. But this is saying maybe the opposite.
But then, what's the evidence for long life and reduced calorie intake? There's been a lot of studies that say if you knock your calories down, you live longer.
And I think that's why she's focused on animal protein, because it's lower in calorie.
Well, maybe. But when we look at the blue zone populations that ate the plant-based things and lived to 100, and I hear there are not many of those left anymore. Have you heard that?
No, I haven't.
Oh, it was sort of distressing that they've kind of no longer doing what they used to do. But they weren't obese people. They were kind of wiry-looking people.
Yeah.
When you look at that. Hectic, but long living. So I don't know. This is
these are good arguments.
Yeah, it's like, do you want to be the bodybuilder, or do you just want to be like the 7 Circles people and live your life
how you want to?
Yeah. Anyway.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So now we're moving on to the LLs.
LLs.
Yes. What are we going to link it to? We've linked some things.
We've linked it to real life, right? We've talked about real life struggles, maybe eating only 1 or 2 meals a day. And we've talked about
that's me
not wanting to be a lab rat.
Yeah.
So, but what about let's try this at home?
Yeah.
How do you actually hit the leucine trigger in real life? Maybe you want to. Maybe you want to give it a shot.
All right. Now, let's just mention she sort of boiled it down to me as 1 gram of protein per pound of ideal body weight. So that could be somewhere around 90 to 120 grams of protein a day. Is that?
Depending on your height,
yeah, right.
I guess.
Yeah.
And your ideal body weight.
And that's, let's say, 30 to 40 grams of protein if you're on a 3-meal diet, 30 to 40 per diet, per meal. That's a lot of protein.
It really is. And
I couldn't do it. I have tried, and I thought, maybe I shouldn't jump to that. I should build up to it so that my body accommodates that.
And if you remember, she also says you can have snacks in between to try to make up for that.
Yeah, so I started having my protein shake with my 2 eggs in the morning, and getting somewhere around 30, 40, 50, depending on if it's, if I put a 3rd scoop in there or not. And it does feel good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
I haven't done it every day, though. Have you? Have you done it really religiously or?
No.
Yeah.
But let's say, you could do scrambled eggs with cottage cheese in the morning.
Which sounds great.
There. A palm-sized chicken breast, that's 4 ounces.
Could you have a piece of bacon with that?
Why not?
I don't know, with nitrites.
You could do Greek yogurt with nuts. That's an easy snack and gives you protein and leucine.
Okay, so I tried one of her recipes and I was really hungry afterwards, and then went back and read it. She said, "Oh yeah, you're supposed to have some Greek yogurt and berries."
Oh yeah.
So I didn't do the whole thing, and I thought, "Oh, okay,
that's why."
Maybe I'll try that the next time.
Okay. Or if you're plant-based, maybe you build a power bowl with some tofu, or you could add edamame to salads and your stir fries to get a whole food soy, or maybe use a Life Shake or a scoop of your favorite plant-based protein. Make sure that it has enough leucine, and you're good to go. So, I don't know. The leucine theory, it just reminds us that quality of protein matters, not just how much you eat. And it's worth just looking into a little bit and paying attention to.
And if you need help with this, she has some nice charts in her book about like turkey versus lamb versus beef and how much leucine and how much you would have to eat. So she has some help in there because, you say something like 2 to 3 grams per meal. Okay, well, then how much beef do I need to eat, or how much yogurt do I need to eat?
Right.
And she gives you
Some charts.
and even some in her program, she shows you per meal how you might do that. And it's very helpful.
It is. Yeah.
To kind of get a sense of, could I do that or not? We're running out of time on this one, but I do, maybe in one of our conversations, want to talk about the collagen buzz, because it's a protein as well. And so with this added protein in your diet, I would kind of want to talk about that. So if you're interested, tune in to another episode. I'm Eleanor at 360 Health, number 4, letter U.com. And you can fill out one of my little forms if you want to have a conversation. And I'd like to help people with product selection for living their lives at home and making things simple. Make your decisions one time a month and have it delivered to your house and you're done.
And I'm Kristen Norton, one of the registered dietitians of Well Balanced Nutrition. We're a North Carolina-based company providing nutrition coaching, and we do it virtually or in person. Give us a visit at wellbalancednutrition.com, and you can always set up a free clarity call for a conversation to see if nutrition coaching is right for you. All right. Well, until next time, enjoy your protein.
And keep reading.
And opinions stated in this podcast are solely those of the contributors and are not necessarily those of our distributors or hosting company. This podcast is copyrighted, and no part can be reproduced without the expressed written consent of Kristen and Eleanor.